All right, so today is Thursday, the 24th of July 2025. Yeah, thanks to those who are still commenting. Mr. Arinze, Mukhtar, Adekoye, Shegun, Gifted Ends, Oluwatoba, Biodun, and Nora Zakaria. Good morning to you all. All right, so today is loaded with a lot of fundamental events, and I will say, as much as possible, avoid any technical trade today until maybe later in the afternoon. That's after 3 p.m. because the market is going to be more fundamental driven today. Yeah, I can still see more comments. Good morning, Madam Monaji and Frank Binga. So this all started in the middle of the night Nigerian time, 4 or 5 a.m. when, or let's say late in the night Nigerian time, when the Reserve Bank of Australian Governor Bullock made a speech, which I believe will have impacted upon the Australian dollar. Now the next event comes up by 8:15 a.m. this morning, and that will come from the Eurozone, the French flash manufacturing PMI, the French flash services PMI, and 8:30 German flash manufacturing PMI, German flash services PMI again from Eurozone by 8:30, and at least from 8:15 to 9 a.m. there will be Euro flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI. So we're going to look at the Euro pairs and how some of them, will react towards this news event. And by 9:30, it's going to be the turn of the British pound. We're going to have the flash manufacturing PMI and the flash services PMI from the United Kingdom. And by 1:15 a.m., we're going to have the euro again, main refinancing rate, monetary policy statement. And by 1:30, Canada will take over with the core retail sales, and simultaneously with unemployment claims from the United States. Now, unemployment claims is actually a major event we cannot ignore. By 1:30 from the United States, it's a very key event. And 1:45 p.m., the ECB president, that's the European Central Bank president, will give a press conference by 1:45. And 2:45 p.m. is going to be the dollar, where we'll have the flash manufacturing PMI, flash services PMI from the United States, and 3 p.m. new home sales. So today is loaded. If you have any technical view, please let it be after 3 p.m. The market is going to be moved more by the fundamentals. You can see we're expecting news from the Eurozone, which will cut across the Euro pairs, the GBP pairs, the Canadian dollar pairs, and the American dollar. These are four major currencies that will be moving, today based, or let me say that will be reacting to the news events today. And the general rule of this is if the news comes out good for the currency, you will buy. If you have like the one for 8:15 and 9 a.m. this morning, if they are good for the euro, then the in color green means we are buying. And if it is bad, it will be in color red, and it means we are selling. But then I think it's better we just take a look at the chart and have a clearer direction. Now some of those data may not be green. We have more than one event. One may be green, the other may be red. One may be green, the other may be black. So it's only in very good cases you have a green all through, a red all through, which can lead to massive volatility. Otherwise, for some of them the data may not be so straightforward like that, and that's the more reason why you have to trade with a lot of caution in a day like this. All right, so I'll switch over now to the charts, and we'll take a closer look at what to expect in the market today. So I'm on my MetaTrader. So we're looking at the euro pairs, the dollar, we're looking at the Canadian dollar, and we're looking at the British pound. Those are the four major instruments we're looking at. Then we'll check another one that I have set up for today. Just a second. Now I'll also be bringing up updates, as regards our weekly outlook. I gave us some update yesterday. You remember on Monday I said I was bearish on the US dollar for this week, and you can see the dollar index has done a massive bearish movement. At the beginning of the week, price was just somewhere around here, and you see the dollar index has gone just in line with our expectation, for the week. You can see the massive drop just in line with the analysis. I will post updates on our WhatsApp group, for our weekly analysis. Just give me a second. All right. So let's check. Now, our outlook for dollar for the week has been bearish. And to be honest, the dollar has done a lot of bearish movement just in line with the analysis that has been given. Dollar has done its own beats. Today is Thursday. All through from Monday to Thursday, we've seen that bearish outlook. So what's going to happen to the dollar? Will it drop further? Well, dollar has hit Fibonacci 50 and 61.8 already. These are the what I may call the kind of the guaranteed levels on the dollar. Will it drop further? Honestly, I don't know. It depends now on the outcome of the news. From technicals, I can't really say much now. So it depends on where the market decides to go based on the outcome of the news. So let me check the USD CHF. USD CHF has also gone in line with our expectation. That's gone in line with our expectation, and price currently is trading at Fibonacci 78.6. It's really finding support. So all I'm trying to tell you is that for me, dollar has gone bearish, except apologies, we had a little network glitch and I'm back. So what I'm saying is that for me, dollar has done its major move technically already for the week. So that depends on what the market wants to do. And looking at the USD CHF also, it has done the major move we anticipated it would do. It's currently trading as a support on Fibonacci 78.6, possibly even trying to form what may look like a double kind of a double bottom pattern. That's what I'm seeing that is trying to form on the USD CHF. So at this point, I can tell you dollar will sell confidently, except that is what the market brings out. So what I will advise is this: today, the news will determine where the market will go. If price breaks out below this current support level, then we may see a sell to the next Fibonacci level, which is Fibonacci 100. Otherwise, price may go to the upside. For the dollar, that's what I'm seeing around the dollar. The market will be driven by the outcome of the news. We may not have a direct, clear-cut projection. So we have a support on this, a support zone here. Let me take it down to 1 hour. All right. So if the data comes out bad for the dollar, maybe price may still break out below this support level, possibly. Otherwise, we may be looking at taking a buy if price breaks above. This is even looking, it was looking like a double bottom on 4 hour, but looking like a triple bottom on the 1 hour. Not exactly an inverse head and shoulder, like a triple bottom, which may trigger a reversal. So if the data comes out bad for the dollar, we may see a breakout downwards. Otherwise, we may be looking at buying the USD CHF, when the news for the dollar is released in the afternoon. There's unemployment claims at 1:30 and other news events by 2:45. If the data comes out good, we can buy. Otherwise, if it comes out bad, we may also look at selling below the support zone or buying above the minor resistance, which is the neckline of the triple bottom pattern on the USD CHF. So USDCHF is either to buy or sell based on where the price breaks out. So you are not to trade until there's a breakout either above or below these levels I've indicated here. A breakout above here means we're buying the USDCHF. A breakout below means we're selling. Please let's take note of that. That's my outlook on the USDCHF. Now for the Euro USD, we're looking at the Euro USD for the news from the Eurozone. For the Euro USD, we have a similar outlook as to what we had on the USD CHF on this one too, because as in the opposite direction, I mean anyway. For the Euro USD, price is currently trading also at Fibonacci 78.2, which is a very high level. It's an indication that the euro is overbought. You can see that RSI hit 70 earlier, and when RSI hits 70, it's an indication that there is a possibility of a reversal. So for the Euro USD, also for the Euro news that we're expecting from 8:15 a.m. this morning, which is just some 20 25 minutes away from now. If the news comes out bad, we may look at selling. This one is also trading at a range. It's trading at a range at the moment. If it breaks out below this current level, we can sell to the next Fibonacci level that can give on the average some, let's just say averages some 30 pips. And if the news comes out bad for the euro, we may look at selling and catch some 30 pips. And on the other hand, if the news comes out good, it may break beyond the and go to the next Fibonacci level, and that can give us on the average some let's just say some 30 or 40 pips also. Do I'm seeing 50 here, but let's be conservative with about 30, 40 pips on a buy if it comes out good. It's at a critical point where we can't say whether it's going to buy or sell. It all depends on market direction, how the market chooses to move. But then take note of the key areas I've said, from where we can buy or sell from. Wait for a breakout below the current low to sell, or a breakout above the recent high, to buy. So that's my outlook on both the USD CHF and the Euro USD. Now we're going to look at the Canadian dollar and and the British pound. Yeah, the GBP USD. Now GBP USD will do almost what the Euro USD2 is doing, because both of them are basically uh positively correlated. All right, now this one is a bit technical. I gave from my analysis for the week, I was bullish. I remember vividly I was bullish on this. Like I said, I'll give updates in the course of today. I will give updates. I said that there was going to be a breakout. I said there was a support here and a breakout, and that breakout has happened. And price also hits. Now, when price hits Fibonacci levels, technically, we may end up with a reversal. But because this is a news, that's why I'm trying to be a bit extra cautious. News sometimes may come with its own complexities, but if it's pure technical, price ranging around, it hit this resistance, that's the Fibonacci level 50 precisely, and that's a key level. Technically, we may be looking for a reversal on GBP/USD. But if the news comes out in either direction, well, we are also prepared. The reason is because for news, we really don't control the market. We can only guide you based on our experience. Even for technical, we don't. But technical can be a bit straightforward because you know what you are seeing on the chart. What you see is what you trade. But sometimes news may not be like that. Though it may follow technical, but some other time you just have to trade with a lot of caution. All right. So for the GBP USD, let me take it down. Okay, 15 minutes is not giving clarity. Even 30 minutes. On this 1 hour, if I look, let me use the line chart. It looks like it's trying to form a kind of a double top, though it's not too clear. is not too clear, but that's basically what I'm saying. But this will be my view for the GBP USD. If the news comes out bad, you may sell to the next Fibonacci level, and that will mean you can make on the average about 30 pips. It's looking a lot like a double top on that Fibonacci 50. That's what it's not too clear, like I said, but that's just what I believe I'm seeing. But on the other hand, if the news comes out good for the British pound, you have to sell above this block to the next Fibonacci level, and that will give on the average about 30 pips also. If it's a sell, 30 pips downwards. If it's a buy, 30 pips upward. And finally, we look at the CAD, the Canadian dollar. And let's take a look at CAD JPY or CAD CHF first for that one. The CAD CHF has been ranging, so let me check the CAD JPY. Not getting what I'm looking for here. Let me check USD CAD. All right. Maybe looking at the USD CAD. Good. Now USD CAD is, trending upwards on the daily time frame. We have an uptrend, price making higher lows, and the candle for yesterday closed as a rejection candle on that higher low. Let me zoom it out bigger. All right. It's a small rejection candle, but it's still rejection anyway on the daily time frame. So technically, we're looking for an upward movement on the USD CAD, and this is equally forming a triple bottom pattern, which technically should trigger a bullish movement. So if the news comes out bad, take note for the Canadian dollar. If the news comes out bad for the Canadian dollar, we may be buying the USD CAD. Again, if the news comes out bad for the Canadian dollar, we may be buying the USD CAD. Let's take note of that. If you have a negative data for the Canadian dollar, for the news that relates to the Canadian dollar, then we may be buying the USD CAD. But the other side is that anytime there is a news from Canada and United States together, for me as a person, I try to be very careful about trading the USD CAD because there's a complexity around it. Now, this is what I'm telling you. If the news comes out as a red for the Canadian dollar, I'm back on Forex Factory. If it comes out as a red, but the condition that will make that also work, don't forget that there's unemployment claims from the United States simultaneously. So if the news comes out bad for the Canadian dollar, but at the same time comes out good for the United States dollar, that's what would trigger a bullish movement on the USD CAD. Well, if it looks a bit complex, just stay out. Let me just say that if it looks a bit complex to you, just stay out. The reason is because USD CAD, contains both the dollar and the Canadian dollar, and it will only buy if the dollar is bullish and the CAD is bearish. It will only sell when the dollar is bearish and the CAD bullish. So in this case, we're looking at a bullish USD CAD. What will lead to a bullish USD CAD is a strong dollar and a weak Canadian dollar. But like I said, if it looks a bit complex to you, because on the other card pairs like card CHF, card GPU, I'm not seeing clear setup on both of them. But USD card has a clear setup. But the condition is that the data must be good for the dollar and bad for the Canadian dollar. If that condition is met, yes, USD card will buy in the afternoon. But like I said, if it looks complex to you, don't bother, just wait. Now, I always say that there will always be another trade, another day. So don't go hunting for all trades in the market. What is important is taking high probability trades. That's the most important thing. All right. I think with that, I've been able to attend to all the setup for the news we're expecting today from the Eurozone, United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Now, to some technical setup I'll be watching in the course of today. I gave you my outlook on gold on Monday. I said gold was going to go up. It hit resistance at over 120 pips. I posted the update. And yesterday, on Monday, this was what I gave on gold. Yesterday, I said it was trading at a resistance and I expected a decline. That decline has already happened. So, what's the next move of gold? This is my outlook on the next move of gold. I believe gold might still do a retracement before a drop, thereby forming what may look like a head and shoulder. That's my next outlook of gold. And how did I come about this? I'll do the top-down view starting from the daily time frame. Now, on the daily time frame, gold hit a resistance level yesterday, which led to the reversal that we saw. So we had the resistance on the daily time frame. Then we also saw yesterday candle closed as a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. So technically, resistance, bearish engulfing, technically is to give us a bearish outlook. And if you take it down to 4 hour, in fact, yesterday this ended up forming a double top pattern, which is what led to the reversal we cited yesterday. But at this point here, we need to know that gold currently is trading around a key level, and that's why I don't think it will drop immediately. I believe there should be a retracement because we have a previous resistance zone here, a resistance turned support. So and you can see price is testing that level already. I don't know if Reverend Edozie is on the platform this morning. I was asking me about gold earlier. So because of this resistance turn support, except there is a big force that breaks this level, yeah, we may have a sell. Otherwise, price is expected to first retrace before dropping. And that level is not just, it's a support it's a resistance turn support, but at the same time, it's also a key level using Fibonacci. Using my Fibonacci tool, that level is also exactly Fibonacci 50. And Fibonacci 50 is a major retracement or reversal level, very major one. So with all this, I believe we may have some retracement, even though ultimately we may have a bearish movement, but then in the short term, then there is likelihood of a retracement before a further continuation, thereby, forming the head and shoulder in a better fashion compared to what we're seeing at the moment. So on the short term, we may see a slight bullish movement before we experience the breakout on gold. All right, so I attend to the request. I'm seeing a lot of people dropping requests here. Mukhtar Garba asking me to check Euro JPY, Mr. Oyelowo Euro card. Ismail Amoshu, the USD CHF again. I say USD CHF, it depends on how the market moves. For me, technically, it has gone into the maximum level it should, except if there's a big force. But what we are looking at for the dollar is the news. If the news comes out good, you buy. If it comes out bad, you sell. Just look at the levels where price is expected to break out from. The news will determine how the dollar will move this morning. I will just indulge you. Look at the levels have drawn. If it breaks out, if the news comes out strongly bad for the dollar, we'll see a bearish breakout. If on the other hand it comes out good, wait for price to break above this neckline to trigger a buy. That's my outlook on the USD CHF. Leaving us US 39. No, there's no US 39. I believe you meant US 30. And it's even labeled as DJ30 on our platform. Maureen is asking to check JPY. Okay, so let me start. Euro JPY. Wow, looks like Euro JPY is in a range. It's in a range. All right, so the news this morning from the Eurozone could just be, what is needed to break Euro JPY out of the current range it's experiencing. Though on the higher time frame, it looks bearish. It looks really bearish on the higher time frame. That's starting from the monthly. Yeah, it's from the monthly time frame. It looks a lot bearish, but then it looks like the fundamental might be required to break out. I still maintain my bearish outlook, but then I don't know if you're already on the trade or this. Make sure you have a stop loss in place. In case things didn't go as planned. I still maintain bearish outlook from what I'm seeing technically. But if the news comes out bad for the euro, then that will trigger this bearish movement. Now we are just less than 15 minutes away from the release of the data. If it really comes out bad, hopefully that will trigger the bearish movement for the euro JPY. Euro card. Okay, all these euro pairs, let's just be wary of the news ahead. If you're on the euro trade already, please make sure you have a stop loss in place. And please, as much as possible, avoid over trading. Avoid having too many open positions. Don't think about the profit alone. Think about the risk and think about if things don't go well, how it may impact upon your account. So that is very critical. Don't just think, oh, if I have 10 trades and all of them go well, I will hit and hammer. Think about if things didn't go as planned. Think about that first. So don't have too many open positions. Eurocard is, for me, on a long term, I'm expecting a bearish breakout because you can see I have a rising wedge pattern on the daily time frame, and I have this support, sorry, resistance turn support. So if price is able to break this level, it's going to be a long term bearish breakout on Eurocard. But that's on the long term. At the moment, I think this instrument is ranging. Let me take it down to 1 hour, 4 hour. Okay, this is 4 hour. It's actually in a range on the 4 hour. It may either buy or sell within this range. It's at the resistance level on the 4 hour now. So again, if the data from Euro comes bad, it may just sell, but it will still be within this range until price breaks this support level before the long term can be triggered. But then on the short term, it may sell because it's at the resistance level on the 4 hour time frame. So the person that is asking, take note of that. Euro card may sell. Take note of what I said may. It all depends on the outcome of the news. But on the technical perspective, it may sell being on the resistance level on the 4 hour. GBP, JPY, and DJ30. We don't have much clarity around GBP, JPY at the moment. Yes, we have a rising wedge pattern which should trigger a bearish movement, but this guy also is in a range. So trade it with caution. Trade it with a lot of caution. And DJ30. All right. For DG30, price currently is trading around a resistance zone on the daily time frame. All right. So we can see it's trading at a resistance level on the daily time frame. So we'll take it down to 1 hour. Let's even go down 15 minutes. Price has broken out below the uh, trend line. There may be a retest before a further continuation. Yeah, where will there be a retest? Or where will there be the likelihood? That's a better word. The likelihood of a retest because we have a previous resistance here and price is trading around that level. In fact, it's a double one. Okay. So this previous resistance may just ensure a retest back to the main resistance on the daily time frame before we see a drop. Now, it could happen either ways. There could be a retest before a continuation, or if there's a lot of volatility, price may just break out straight. But what is important is that let price break this new resistance, sorry, support zone I just drew. Let there be a new breakout before you trigger a sell. RSI is already below 50, MACD is already below zero. So we're bearish on the DJ30. Again, wait for a clear breakout below this support zone before you trigger a sell. All right, I think I've attended to all the requests for analysis. Don't forget, if you are not yet a client to PU Prime, go over now and type on our website www.puprime.com and open a live trading account. And if you are yet to be in our 5X group, you're missing out a lot. Reach out to your account manager. Your account manager will guide you on how to join our 5X group. 5X group is our premium signal group. When I say premium, I mean premium. Over 1,000 pips generated between the first week in June and the first week in July. We're already, almost entering the last week of July, and I believe so far this month also some hundreds of pips have been generated already. So if you're there, you're still struggling with trading, you don't need to struggle. Yes, I know you want to trade by yourself, but then why not get signal from professionals? While you are still practicing with your own trades, you know. People who are on the group cannot say they are not making profits. They are making profit. The goal of 5X is actually to push your account to 5 times the amount you started when you joined that group. I must tell you, it may require you need to do a fresh funding. I will tell you that, yes, because it's premium. You are not paying for it. You are not paying for the signal, so you just need to do a top up to be a part of that group. But then the profit is, it's going to be massive. I can assure you of that. All right, so we'll see again possibly later today. Just make sure you join every analysis session and make sure you're constantly on our WhatsApp group to get updates from us. Take care and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.